Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
An Athens County court sentenced a Nelsonville man to 8 years in prison today for murdering his cousin in 2014. Good evening, I'm Josh Gregory, and thanks for joining us. 44-year-old Jerry Campbell was indicted last February on 2 counts of failing to provide for his functionally impaired cousin, as well as robbery, kidnapping, and domestic violence, among others. Campbell pleaded guilty in Athens County Court yesterday. Counterfeit bills and break-ins are current crime trends in Athens County. Back in July, several Athens businesses received counterfeit $100 bills. Three East State Street businesses were also broken into. Athens County Crime Solvers Anonymous is offering a $2,000 cash reward for information on any of these crimes. These reports have been coming in since May, but the crimes are not believed to be related. Now an update on a story from earlier this week. Jeff Hill is turning into a two-way road, but possibly not until 2017. The downward side of the road will stay closed until the Jefferson Hall renovations are complete. Athens Public Works Director Andy Stone says those renovations are set to finish in early 2017. Stone says the change is to accommodate larger vehicles, including trash trucks and tractors.
Rather than send those large vehicles up into the uptown where there's lots of pedestrians and they're trying to negotiate it, they wanted to be able to turn back or have those vehicles turn back to the east.
The flat portion at the bottom of Jeff Hill will also be turned into a two-way road, but again, these changes are only set to go into effect after crews renovate Jefferson Hall. A public art installation team is looking for design feedback and ideas for the Athens parking garage. A collaborative art installation will be mounted on the exterior East Washington Street wall of the garage. Preliminary design concepts include aluminum-mounted photographs and handcrafted timber frame housing. A meeting about the project will be held at City Hall next Friday at noon. Nelsonville residents will have to pay 5% more on their sewer bills starting in 2017. Nelsonville's City Council unanimously passed a sewer rate increase on Monday. The funds from the increase will be used within the next 5 to 7 years for a new or rebuilt sewer plant. The current sewer plant is over 50 years old. Ohio Health is donating a former Nelsonville hospital to Integrated Services for Behavioral Health. The Athens-based organization intends to refurbish the former doctor's hospital costs for interior renovation and energy efficiency upgrades reach $2.5 million. According to Ohio Health, the building will be donated later this fall.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Matt Thigpen. Right now in Athens, we're seeing 64 degrees. That dew point, 60 degrees. Man, it's muggy out there, but you can't really feel it because the temperature's so low. The rain has stopped for now. 80% humidity, winds out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. Across our region, Columbus, 61 degrees. Newark, 64. New Martinsville, 67. Down there in Ironton, 64 degrees. As we look at our football forecast for those about to head out, kickoff starts about 7 p.m. tonight. 63 degrees at kickoff. Throughout, we'll have to watch scattered showers and thunderstorms across our area. There was a couple severe thunderstorm warnings near Ripley earlier today. Those have wind down throughout the day. But right now, 63 degrees for our football Friday night lights forecast. Josh, how's that sound?
Sounds great, Matt. Thanks a lot for that insight. Minimum wage will increase by 5 cents next year to adjust for inflation. Officials say non-tipped workers must be paid an hourly wage of at least $8.15 beginning in 2017. Tipped workers can expect a minimum wage of $4.08 an hour. The new wage only applies to companies with annual gross incomes of almost $300,000 a year. 12,000 Ohio doctors might be violating a 2015 law. The law requires them to check patients' prescription histories online before prescribing painkillers. The Ohio Medical Board says they're focusing on 45 physicians who prescribed painkillers to more than 200 patients, each without running the required checks. However, the Ohio State Medical Association says most doctors do comply with the law. An Ohio man will go to court on November 29th after pleading not guilty to heroin distribution in connection to 27 overdoses. The overdoses happened in a 5-hour span in Huntington, West Virginia. One of the victims identified Griggs as the dealer, according to a counterfeit affidavit. Investigators believe that the heroin was mixed with the painkiller fentanyl. Fentanyl is a danger that has been showing up more and more in Ohio. Heroin is commonly being laced with fentanyl, a powerful painkiller, and is having a serious impact on people in Ohio. We caught up with Dr. James Gaskell to find out how serious the painkiller can be.
Fentanyl is about 30 to 50 times more potent than heroin. It increases the potency of the heroin unpredictably, and the individual who shoots heroin then, laced with fentanyl, may indeed die.
Anyone seeking treatment for heroin addiction can reach out to the Athens Health Recovery Services for short or long-term treatment. Kentucky officials are monitoring a Lexington daycare after finding out employees physically harmed children as part of a game. Officials say at least 2 children had noticeable bruising from the game Smack for a Snack. The game involved lining the 27 children up and smacking them with a ruler in exchange for yogurt. Officials also found a window shattered from 2 children fighting. Police cited 1 employee with assault. When in a stressful situation, most people text a friend or family member, but now Ohioans can text a counselor too. The state launched a crisis texting service yesterday. Trained counselors will be there to answer texts from people who need help. People can reach out about anything from thoughts of suicide, bullying, depression, and self-harm. Tracy Pluock, the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services Director, says the program doesn't replace crisis phone line counseling. Instead, it offers an up-to-date way for Ohioans to access to help. To use the service, text the keyword for HOPE to 741-741 to reach a counselor. We have much more coming up next on Newswatch. There are new updates in the investigation on the New Jersey train crash. We had the latest news on why the train never slowed down. That story, plus the Tulsa police officer charged with shooting an unarmed black man, appeared in court today. The latest on her arraignment when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
A sad update on the South Carolina elementary school shooting earlier this week. The coroner originally reported none of the injuries appeared to be life-threatening. Today, though, reports say a 6-year-old boy is on life support after being shot on the school playground. Jacob Hall was one of 3 people shot outside South Carolina's Townville Elementary School. His family says the boy remains in critical condition.
As of right now, yes, he is on life support, but I don't want to go into full details on his injuries. That's a private matter as of right now. But he is fighting every day, every moment to survive. And he will survive. He's a strong-willed son.
The other shooting victims, a first-grade teacher and another student, have been released from the hospital. The suspected gunman, a 14-year-old boy, is in jail. Police say the suspect's father, a 47-year-old man, Jeffrey Osborne, was found shot to death in his home on Wednesday. The Tulsa police officer accused of killing an unarmed man went before a judge today. Officer Betty Shelby pleaded not guilty Friday to a charge of first-degree manslaughter in the killing of Terrence Crutcher, an unarmed black man, on September 16th. Shelby confronted the 40-year-old after she came across his SUV abandoned in the middle of the road. She claimed Crutcher was reaching inside of the vehicle when she shot him, but the district attorney's investigator says Shelby escalated the situation to the point of overreacting. Videos of the shooting and its aftermath show Crutcher walking away from Shelby with his hands up, but the footage does not offer a clear view of when Shelby fired the shot. Shelby pleaded not guilty to first-degree manslaughter. She's expected back in court on November 29th. The train that crashed into the Hoboken terminal yesterday morning was traveling at a high speed, according to investigators. The National Transportation Safety Board says it will spend the next 7 to 10 days investigating the scene to determine exactly what happened. Karen Kafa reports from Hoboken with more.
Investigators are searching for answers into why New Jersey Transit train 1614 never slowed down before crashing into the Hoboken terminal at 8:45 a.m. Thursday morning. The crash killed one woman waiting on the platform and injured more than 100 others. The NTSB believes some clues could be found in the train's 2 event recorders, one of which was pulled last night. But it will take some time to recover the second one.
Right now, it's a very unsafe situation. There's a canopy that is resting on top of the train. Once that's removed, we'll be able to look more closely at this train.
The NTSB is looking into all possible factors that could have led to the crash.
We are looking into every aspect of it. So we like to say we look at the man, the machine, and the environment.
Commuters who survived and witnessed the crash describe the chaotic scene.
At the end of every track is a bumper, a steel bumper. It went right through the bumper and right on top of the platform.
There was just this impact, and it sounded like an explosion, and we were stunned.
The speed seemed normal, but as we got closer, I didn't really realize it at the time, but it did not slow down at all.
The engineer of the train has been identified as 48-year-old Thomas Gallagher, an employee of New Jersey Transit for 29 years. Gallagher was treated for his injuries and released from a local hospital. New Jersey's governor says he is cooperating with investigators. In Hoboken, New Jersey, I'm Karen Kafa.
Thanks, Karen. And New Jersey Transit service remains suspended indefinitely in and out of the terminal this morning. The NTSB says contractors have to remove debris from the top of the train before investigators can enter certain passenger cars. Libertarian presidential nominee Gary Johnson gets his second newspaper endorsement in 2 days. The Chicago Tribune on Friday announced its support, calling Johnson practical, agile, and experienced. The paper said Johnson and his running mate William Weld offer an agenda that appeals not only to the Tribune's principles, but to those of the many Americans who say they are socially tolerant but fiscally responsible. The paper suggested that both Trump and Clinton have appealed to voters whose beliefs are not in the best interest of all Americans. The Detroit News endorsed the former New Mexico governor on Thursday, admitting that backing him is the longest of shots. When it comes to national coffee chains, Southeast Ohio has Tim Hortons and Starbucks. But soon there will be some Dunkin' Donuts coffee on shelves at your local grocery store. Dunkin' Donuts announced that it will soon launch bottled coffee beverages in a partnership with Coca-Cola. This agreement will make Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee available for purchase in grocery stores and convenience stores nationwide. The highly anticipated beverages will still include Dunkin' Donuts' signature use of Arabica coffee blend and real milk in a variety of flavors. The product will be manufactured, distributed, and sold by Coca-Cola. This ready-to-drink coffee is set to hit stores in 2017. On Wall Street today, stocks ended on a high note across the board. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. And coming up next on Newswatch, Hurricane Matthew poses a new threat to the Caribbean. We'll have the latest on that, plus Matt has a look at our local weather.
Scattered showers impact our high school football for tonight. We'll see what our weekend outlook looks like, all in my extended forecast.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
From the Newswatch Weather Center on the campus of Ohio University, I'm Matt Thigpen. 64 degrees right now in Athens. Something you'll need later today if you're headed out to football. A nice umbrella, big one for you. Cloudy skies across our region. Southwest, 3 miles per hour wind across our region. 64 down in Ironton, 62 in Ripley. Up in Cambridge, we're seeing 66 degrees. 61 in our state's capital in Columbus. There's that football forecast. 63 degrees, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly across our eastern counties. Winds light and variable. That'll keep our field goal units intact. As we look at our weekend outlook real fast, we'll look at 74 degrees for Saturday. Saturday evening, 51 degrees. 75 for Sunday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue through our weekend. Here's this. Hurricane Matthew, Category 3 storm, sustained winds at 120 miles per hour. Forecast track from the National Hurricane Center looks like this, heading straight dead on Jamaica, heading up through Cuba, and it'll head up, we gotta watch this, headed up towards Florida and the eastern seaboard, could affect our weather later next week. Precipcast for our area, that low pressure has been sitting over our area all week, it's been downing our weather, cloudy skies, real depressing. But don't worry, we'll see sunshine as we will see in my extended forecast. Rain across our region. Tomorrow's highs look like this. 68 in Columbus, 74 in most of our eastern cities, 74 in Ripley, 73 in Ironton, 74 here in Athens. Tomorrow for Athens, there's that 74 degrees, partly cloudy skies, in and out of those clouds, showers across our region. Battle of the Bricks in Oxford. Man, oh man, that's a good old game. If you're heading out, 65 by kickoff at 2:30 p.m. Cool and might need a light jacket, chance of showers windy, breezy, 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south as we see that low pressure just sitting there. 53 for tonight in Athens. Chilly, chilly weather. Take that jacket if you're headed out tonight. Scattered showers. Might need a jog in tonight. I know I do. 53 in Athens. Cooler spot here in Jackson, 49 degrees. Those cloudy skies, rainy conditions. This weekend looks a little showery, in and out of the showers, 20% chance of rain, both Saturday and Sunday. There's that sunshine. Not as depressing, won't need those antidepressants. Sunny skies. How's that look, Josh?
Looks good, man. Make sure I have that umbrella with me. But now to take a look at weather happening south of us in the Caribbean. Tropical Storm Matthew is now Hurricane Matthew. It's the 5th hurricane of the 2016 Atlantic hurricane season, and the storm picked up strength about 190 miles away from the Caribbean island country of Curacao. Swells generated by Matthew are expected to affect portions of the coasts of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, Venezuela, and Colombia during the next few days. Maximum sustained winds have increased to near 75 miles per hour.
Hey there, I'm Tony Heim for WOUB Sports. When we come back, I'll get you prepared for a weekend full of football, and that starts with Friday Night Lights. Week 6 of high school football is almost underway, and Gridiron Glory will be traveling out to Nelsonville for the Buckeyes battle against the Megs Marauders. That matchup and more after the break. And as always, stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back. I'm Tony Heim. Week 6 of high school football starts in less than an hour. Time flies when you're having fun, am I right? Gridiron Glory is out in full force tonight, so you don't miss any of the action. You'll hear recaps from Belpre at South Gallia, Sheridan at Maysville, as well as a story on Warren's first-year head coach Tim Carver, presented by yours truly. Tune your television to WOUB at 11:30 for all that and much more. Moving from the high school ranks to the collegiate ranks, the Ohio Bobcats are prepping for one of the biggest weeks of the season, the annual Battle of the Bricks game. Ohio defeated Miami 34-3 in last season's homecoming game, so the Red Hawks have revenge on their mind. Miami is coming off an impressive outing against the Cincinnati Bearcats last weekend. Well, for Miami. They held the Bearcats to 27 points and only lost by 7. That loss pushed the Red Hawks' record to 0-4 on the season. Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 in Oxford. The Ohio-Miami rivalry extended to the volleyball court last night, but it did not fare well for the Bobcats. The Red Hawks steamrolled to a 3-0 sweep, handing Ohio their first conference loss of the season. The Bobcats defeated Akron and Buffalo last weekend. Their 2-1 conference record places them third in the MAC East, behind Miami and Kent State. The Lady Bobcats will look to bounce back in 10 minutes when they take the court to face Bowling Green to end their mini road trip. The Cincinnati Bengals, in rare form, played impressively well on primetime last night. They destroyed the Miami Dolphins in those beautiful orange jerseys to the tune of 22-7. A.J. Green was typical A.J. Green, recording 10 receptions, 173 yards, and a touchdown. But the story was the Vontaze Burfict-inspired defense. Other than a 74-yard touchdown to Kenny Stills, the Bengals defense played a near-perfect game, sacking Ryan Tannehill 5 times and forcing 2 turnovers. Tight end Tyler Eifert is expected back next week. Looks like all is well in Cincinnati. And maybe I spoke too soon. While the Bengals are getting their season on track, the Reds are putting the finishing touches on a truly awful season. The Reds lost against the Cardinals 4-3 last night, pushing their record to 67-92 on the season. With only 3 games remaining, the Reds have something important on the line, a high draft pick. The MLB best Chicago Cubs will try to help Cincy in their quest as they come to Ohio this weekend to end the season. While the Reds are preparing for the end, the Cleveland Indians are preparing for a brand new season. The Indians clinched the division earlier this week and now are awaiting the final seeding for the postseason. If the standings stay the same, which is probable, the Indians will play the Boston Red Sox in the division series. Before that can be finalized, Cleveland has 3 games in Kansas City this weekend and a Monday makeup from last night's cancellation against the Tigers. I'm Tony Heim, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Josh.
All right, thanks, Tony. Retirement has traditionally been viewed as the time when a person steps away from the daily grind and enjoys a quieter existence. But these days, many people are waiting to retire. Jim Morelli tells us about the variety of reasons people don't want to stop working.
For many Americans, the definition of retirement is pretty simple.
I can do what I want when I want to do it.
But the notion of what retirement should mean is changing, and increasingly, Americans aren't stopping at 65. Government statistics show nearly 20% of the workforce is past retirement age. And a recent survey by CareerBuilder.com suggests that number will continue to grow. Reasons include a need for income and a need for health insurance, but about a third say they don't want to stop working because they enjoy their jobs, while others say they fear retirement could be boring. These are some of the ways retirees can put structure into their day. Taking retirement for a test drive, assessing your values to determine if you can fill your retirement years with something fulfilling, and getting into healthy habits before retiring. That might yield the biggest payoff at the end of the employment rainbow. In Milford, Massachusetts, Jim Morelli for CNN.
Thanks, Jim. Now let's go over to Matt for a final look at weather. Matt, what do we got?
Well, it certainly isn't my retirement, I'll give you that one. 8 p.m., 50% chance of rain, 60 degrees. By midnight, we'll see 55 degrees. By 4 a.m., those early dawners, 53 degrees. Just checking those chickens. Football forecast looks like this for our high school football. You're heading out 7 p.m., that's cutting it close. 63 degrees, scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially to our eastern counties. Our temperatures across the region for tomorrow, 68 across our region. Cambridge, 68. Ironton, 73 degrees. Our extended forecast, there it is. Weekend looks like this, 74 and 75 on Saturday and Sunday. Monday, look at that, sunshine for our work week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Josh?
Great, thanks for that, Matt. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Josh Gregory. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Make sure to watch WOUB's Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30. You can also find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.